December 21st, 2025. National Aviation Weather Summary. Today's national pattern features broad ridging over the southeast and Gulf Coast, a weak, cold frontal passage across the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and stronger westerly flow impacting the Pacific Northwest. The net result is mostly manageable flying weather nationwide, with localized operational friction tied to fog, gusty winds, and terrain-driven turbulence rather than organized convection. Across the Deep South and Gulf region, shallow, low-level moisture trapped beneath the ridge has produced areas of patchy to locally dense morning fog, especially inland from the immediate coast. Early departures may encounter brief visibility restrictions, but surface heating and mixing should lift ceilings by late morning. Once fog clears, VFR conditions dominate with light winds and warm temperatures. Coastal and offshore operations should remain mindful of gradually tightening pressure gradients and increasing onshore flow near the Gulf and Western Atlantic, though impacts today remain modest. Florida sits squarely under the ridge axis. Interior fog around sunrise is the primary early-day concern, with quick improvement after mid-morning. Isolated Atlantic coastal showers are possible but limited in coverage and intensity. Expect widespread VFR through the afternoon with light winds. Marine and coastal operations may notice increasing northeast flow late, but terminal impacts today are minimal. The southern and central Appalachians and adjacent Atlantic South are influenced by the trailing edge of a weak frontal boundary. Skies are largely dry, but northwest winds increase behind the front, producing occasional gusts and some mechanical turbulence near ridgelines. Ceilings remain mostly VFR, with lower clouds lingering longest in higher terrain. Across the Midwest and Great Lakes, cool and dry air dominates behind the same frontal system. Gusty west to northwest winds are the primary operational consideration, especially during climb and descent. Ceiling and visibility restrictions are limited, and no organized precipitation is expected today. The northern plains remain cold and dry under brisk westerly flow. Localized stratocumulus may briefly lower ceilings, but widespread IFR is not expected. Wind chill and surface gust may affect ground operations more than airborne routing. Along the North Pacific coast and into the Pacific Northwest, a progressive Pacific system supports periods of rain, lower ceilings, and persistent west to northwest winds. Terrain-induced turbulence and occasional wind shear are possible, particularly near coastal gaps and mountain passes. Conditions trend gradually more stable later today, but winds remain a factor. California, including Southern California, the Central Valley, and the Bay Area, remains under relatively benign flow. Coastal stratus may affect early arrivals, especially near the Bay Area, but most locations trend VFR by midday with light onshore winds and minimal weather disruption. Key mechanisms driving today's impacts: a broad upper-level ridge suppresses convection and supports warm, stable conditions across the southeast and Gulf. A weak cold front sliding offshore in the east brings cooler air and gusty winds but little precipitation. Farther west, zonal Pacific flow enhances winds and light precipitation along the northwest coast, with terrain effects driving most operational concerns. Major airport notes: Atlanta, early patchy fog possible, then VFR with light winds and minimal disruption. Chicago, Post-frontal northwest winds gusty at times, otherwise VFR and dry. Denver, dry and cool with breezy westerly flow aloft. Light to moderate mountain turbulence possible. Los Angeles VFR throughout the day with light onshore flow and no significant impacts. New York and Baltimore, breezy northwest winds behind the front, VFR ceilings and cooler temperatures. San Francisco, early coastal stratus possible, improving to VFR with onshore flow. Seattle, periods of lower ceilings and rain early with persistent gusty winds and localized turbulence. Overall, today favors largely VFR operations nationwide, with attention focused on morning fog in the southeast, gusty post-frontal winds in the east and midwest, and wind-driven impacts across the Pacific Northwest.